Hi there, I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston in the northwest of England, and I offer this devotion as a balm for the heart, for the mind, for the spirit, and for the soul. And it's titled The Shyness of Spring. Beauty awakens slowly but surely. And I'm going to begin with actually, it seems a bit odd perhaps, but a kind of meditative blessing by a Rebecca Savage called Beauty is Our Birthright. Sometimes we awake in the morning with a heaviness in our chest. Sometimes we awake in the morning with the endless to-do list rattling through our thoughts, the nagging reminders of what was left undone yesterday, and the pangs I have to do it all again today, pinching at our insides. Sometimes we awake in the morning and we'd rather go back to sleep. We would rather escape under the covers, a rock, the bottom of the closet. And then the first sliver of sunshine may dance across our face. Beautiful. And then the wafting scent of a new day may glide over us. Beautiful. And then signs of life blossom around us to include inside of us. Beautiful. Beauty is our birthright, just as we are born in love, through love, to love. To nurture beauty is to return to our essence, to touch, taste, and experience creation as beautiful, as the fragile, wonderful, and wild interdependence within the spirit of life, that which is so much greater than ourselves. May beauty wrap and delight us and guide our way. May beauty be yours now and forever. Amen and Ashe. Now, as is often the case, I wake up on Monday mornings feeling quite tired actually. I see a busy week ahead. On top of that, I wake wondering what to explore in the week ahead. It's a familiar feeling most Monday mornings for me. Sunday does take a lot from me emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even physically actually. I give my all, and so I awake tired the next day. So this Monday I arose in my usual way, engaged in my usual morning rituals that I begin every day with, and I stepped out into the world. I had to do, but I headed to the park with Molly. We walked around and around alone really. There wasn't many people about. We took in the natural beauty. It was a beautiful blue morning. The blue sky and the green grass, are so good for our souls. It awakens us. Or maybe it awakens something within us. There's something about the blue sky. Mr. Blue Sky is a friend of mine's name for God, actually. And I felt this feeling so deeply that Monday morning, actually. It really touched and lifted my soul. As Molly played and we wandered round, I noticed the other colours of the spring flowers emerging more than they were last week. They emerged slowly, almost one after the other. New colours each new week. One thing I love about spring is its shyness, how the new life slowly emerges, how it allows us to adjust to its beauty. Every day something new to discover. A sight, a sound, a colour. Blackbird singing perhaps. Beautiful. An awakening feast for the senses. May you open to it slowly but surely. I typed these words as a blessing to friends on social media on Monday morning as I returned home. And then I thought to myself afterwards, why do we call this time of year spring? Because if truth be told, it doesn't just suddenly spring to life. Yes, I know that spring comes from an old English word, springen, which meant to leap or burst forth or fly up, to spread or grow. Think of water bursting forth from a spring. The season and the awakening of the new flowers and of new life during springtime, though, doesn't just burst forth suddenly. It appears in a different way. It comes slowly, really, but surely. It comes faithfully, actually. But most of us are impatient for it to burst forth. But it pays no attention to our cries, our wishes. But it does come through slowly but surely. It's been doing so all week long. The blue sky, the green grass, and all the new colours, bringing forth life and blessing us with its beauty. All we have to do is open our eyes, open all our senses, our ears as much as our eyes actually, to the new beauty that is slowly emerging. Now, a friend of mine responded to my question as to why we call it spring. She posted, "It doesn't sound right if we rename it creeping, does it?" She does have a point. If we called spring creeping, it wouldn't have the same feel, would it, after all? But maybe it's closer to the truth. Maybe emerging is a better word. Maybe we should call this time of year the emergence of new life, or emerging, the emerging season, the season of emergence. What do you reckon? It won't stick, I know that. We've got what we've got, and that's the way it's going to be. The world ain't going to listen to me. But I have been enjoying the emerging beauty of spring all week. Now, this is not to say I'm ignoring what is troubled within me, within my communities, within my world. Of course I'm not. I'm not closing my senses to anything. I'm just ensuring my senses are also open to what is good and what is beautiful. I am living with open eyes, an open heart, an open soul, all my senses wide awake. Let beauty awake for beauty's sake. Spring begins tentatively, but it advances with tenacity. All the new life touches me so deeply. No matter how small and delicate the roots are, they insist on coming to life. They insist on their way as they press up through the ground that only a few weeks ago was frozen, that no life could have grown, you would have thought. The crocuses, the snowdrops, they don't bloom for very long, but their mere appearance, however brief, is always a harbinger of hope. And from those small beginnings, hope grows at a geometric rate. The days get longer, the winds get warmer, the world grows green again, followed by a feast of flowers and blossoms and beauty and birdsong and everything. This brings to mind a wonderful poem, Metamorphosis by Mace Sarton. And it's a poem really about transformation during springtime. Maybe it's an Easter poem really, but it's springtime and Easter. They come together. Lent. Spring was called Lent actually, before it was called spring. So this is Metamorphosis by May Sarton. Always it happens when we are not there. The tree leaps up alive in the air. Small open parasols of Chinese green wave on each twig. But who has ever seen the latch sprung, the bud at its burst? Spring always manages to get there first. Lovers of wind who will have been aware of faint stirring in the empty air, look up one day through a dissolving screen to find no star but this multiplied green, shadow on shadow, singing sweet and clear. Listen, lovers of wind, the leaves are here. Now, on Sunday mornings, I travel from Altrincham to take the service, first of all, in Urmston. And as soon as I arrive at Urmston, I always take Molly out for a walk just around the block around where the church is. As we did this Sunday, I noticed my first cherry blossom of the year. I took a picture. I always notice the cherry blossom in Urmston before I do so in Altrincham, actually. It's happened the last few years. Is there anything more beautiful than cherry blossom? Their beauty in many ways comes from how short-lived their blooming is. The cherry blossom is at its most beautiful, really, about a week after it's in full bloom, when half of the pink snow covers the ground, provided it's not too windy. The beauty of the cherry blossom is in both its impermanence and its imperfection, really. At its most beautiful when the season is half complete, or at least that's how I see it. In the eye of this beholder, that's when it's at its most beautiful. So I took a picture of the cherry blossom and I began my yearly ritual by sharing the picture and inviting friends to share their pictures, to take pictures of cherry blossoms and to share these pictures, these beauties with me, of course, but with others too, and encourage them to do the same, to fill our world with beauty, impermanent beauty. Now, as I was taking the picture and posting it off, I obviously got a little bit distracted. And as I did, I somehow lost my glasses case. I didn't realise till later. And I thought, well, that's it. It's gone forever. Because as soon as I got back to the church, I had to take the service. And then as soon as I finished the service in Urmston, I had to get off to Altrincham. So I couldn't go looking for it. So I thought, that's it. It's gone. Well, actually, it hasn't gone. When I returned to Urmston on Tuesday morning, I again walked round the block with Molly. And just as I was putting her poo bag in the bin, there was my glasses case lying there on the ground near the bin. I'm glad my eyes were open on Tuesday morning. I then returned to the church and engaged in the most beautiful conversation with some of the congregation there in our Common Search for Meaning group. It was wonderful, beautiful. Afterwards, I returned back to Altrincham and me and Molly went for a walk. And this time, I did notice some cherry blossom in Altrincham in Stamford Park, actually. We walked, Molly played, and I engaged in some beautiful conversations about joy, but also about grief and sadness. One poor lady had recently lost her dog, and she talked for quite some time. No doubt she talked to everybody she meets in the park, connecting, empathetically connecting with one another. But I walked with open eyes. I walked with an open heart. I walked with all my senses, including my ears, wide awake, open, including my sixth sense. So it all fed my soul. Beautiful, so beautiful. It is vitally important to recognize the beauty in the world, despite the very real troubles of our personal lives, of our community, and our wider world. There is so much that is beautiful in the world, in this life, in each other. And it's so vitally important to notice it and to share what we see and experience. This is why I love poetry. I love the way that gifted poets see what is beautiful, capture what is beautiful with their words, express what is beautiful through the beauty of language. They share in such beautiful ways, and as they do, it awakens something in our hearts. For those who have ears to hear, of course. So here's a lovely example. Here, William Stafford beautifully depicts that the world is more than the troubles we see, that there is a very real world of nature that stretches from the cells of our bodies to all forms of life that surrounds us, that's a part of this incredible thing that is life. So this is Time for Serenity, anyone? By William Stafford. I like to live in the sound of water, in the feel of mountain air. A sharp reminder hits me. This world is still alive. It stretches out there shivering towards its own creation, and I'm part of it. Even my breathing enters into the elaborate give and take, this bowing to sun and moon, day or night, winter, summer, storm, still. This tranquil chaos that seems to be going somewhere. This wilderness with a great peacefulness in it, this motionless turmoil, this everything dance. As I walk in beauty, I take in the natural world all around me. I remember that this world is still alive, and it is alive in me, and I need to feel this aliveness in order to live fully in this world. It is one way that I connect to the beautiful power that I call God. It's not the only way, but it's one way, and it's a vital way. As I look at the blooming flowers and the cherry blossom, I am reminded of its impermanence, that it does not last forever, but it is part of the ever-changing cycle of life and existence, as we all are. Yes, this world can be difficult and painful at times, but that even these troubles that we get caught up in, that the world is caught up in, even they don't last forever. They are impermanent. Well, it doesn't seem that way. I live in and by and through hope. I walk in hope as well as beauty. I know that the better world I dream of is possible. If I didn't believe this, I wouldn't be a minister of faith. I may not always see the fruits, but sometimes I do, from time to time, and sometimes I taste them. As I walk in beauty and in hope, I see beauty and new life all around me. It lifts my heart and it inspires my soul. Just past the spring equinox, Thursday the 20th, the day when light and dark are in balance. It happens twice a year, both in autumn and in spring. An equinox means equal time. So there will be more light than dark from the equinox. May our eyes be open to it. May we live with open eyes. Anyone can walk around pointing out what is wrong and ugly in the world. Anyone can walk around pointing out what is life denying. That's easy, you know. It takes no effort at all. That said, to become keenly and consistently aware of what is good, true, and beautiful demands attention, consistent attention. It takes effort, actually, it takes work. To do so, we must open our hearts, our senses, our souls, and we must keep them open. You must live with open eyes. Sometimes all you have to do is look at the blossom as it's above us and the flowers around us, or the little dog playing in the park, the dog's playing in the park, and you can awaken to what is beautiful and holy. For all ground is holy ground. Shake off your shoes. Shed them like Moses at that burning bush. Feel it at your feet. You know, I understand now that in the Hebrew account, in the Hebrew Bible, when Moses is told to shake off his shoes, the actual Hebrew word was to shed your shoes, like a snake would shed its skin, I guess, to feel the ground, to feel this newness, and this is what springs about. But you have to feel it, and that requires a certain vulnerability. So shed the skin that you're imprisoned in, shed the scales from your eyes, and live with open eyes. See the beauty around you, the beauty you walk in. Be inspired by the beauty. Walk in beauty. Absorb beauty. Let beauty fill your soul and share what is beautiful with all that you meet. When you recognize the beauty in life, you will recognize the beauty in yourself and the beauty in the people around you and in this world. Yes, there is much wrong, but there is much that is right. If you recognize this, you will walk in beauty. I'm going to end with another poem, actually, from Mary Oliver. Here is Mindful by Mary Oliver. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It's what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. And now to end, some final words of blessing. And these words of blessing are from Chief Dan George. You know, we need to bless more. The world needs it. And we can all bless with our simple humanity, in our living and our breathing and our sharing of our being, by giving ourselves wholeheartedly to life, with our senses wide open, feeding that sixth sense in ourselves and others, being fed, feeding and being fed. So I invite you to still yourself while I offer these final words of blessing. The beauty of the trees, the softness of the air, the fragrance of the grass speaks to me. The summit of the mountain, the thunder of the sky, the rhythm of the sea speaks to me. The faintness of the stars, the freshness of the morning, the dew drop on the flower speaks to me. The strength of the fire, the taste of salmon, the trail of the sun, and the life that never goes away, they speak to me. And my heart soars. May the love of God be with us all, and may we radiate it, and may we do so in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Amen, and blessed be.